Hi friends, so we are going to introduce advanced radiographic element, something like this in this week. So as you can see, if you remember the basic radiographical element last week here, that we have these kind of relative simple elements in this small card, and I think it fits well because you only have this kind of space to present a graphic. So if you put too much complexity in there, nobody's going to see it, and it also feels visually cluttered. So when you go with this kind of more complexity graphic, make sure you are putting it in a large space where they need their details to be shown. Okay, now let's start with these credits. So I think I found this in the Pinterest board, so you can click here to see the Pinterest board. Now let's grab the starter. We're going to create this kind of Newman shape, and then also apply it with some gradient and even this kind of stroke thing. Let's start with a shape, a circular shape. I'm going to make it 200 and 200. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to remove the fill and the stroke. So I'm going to group it. And then let's go to the draw panel and then hit radial repeat. And let's start with 0. Yep, that's what I want for this shape. Now I need this shape here. So what I would do is I'm going to click on this one, apply transform to a selection. So apply it. Then it's not a radial repeat group anymore. It's just a lot of an element. Then here, next thing that we are going to do is go into their vector editing mode. So select everything, then hit again. Then here we have this shape. This is what we want, and we need this shape here, and then that's it. Then we hit escape to back to our normal editing. Then we're going to select this one and put it right here. Okay, so we are selecting this shape and hit enter to go into the vector editing mode. Now we select the pen tool, then hold your command to draw a curve Bezier handle first. It doesn't matter, just give you a handle so you can take a look. Now the second line here that I am going to have is right in the middle, but having like a quarter of space because I need to put 3 lines here. Then here we will going to hold command, then click and hold to get the Bezier handle as well. Now hold command and end this part. And now we are going to hit V back with the selection tool and started to play out with this curve to make sure it goes what you want. So I like to have a mirror angle and the length in this part. So now we have this line. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate this line, so Command D, and I'm gonna change it, and then Command D again. It's not perfect, of course, but yeah, we will change that. So you can see this handle is for this one. We will be manually doing this the whole in this process, so bear with me. So I've done everything. I like to just give it a rub out and see if it is all balanced. Next thing that I'm going to do is duplicate and then hit radial repeat and then start with the unit 1. So let's start to rotate. I like it to rotate it just like this. Then we close the gap, keep rotating to make sure it's what we want, and then I will go back, close the gap, and choose pixel because you might need some manual control. As you can see here that you got this one. And we could also do different number. Let's do 7, so it's a odd number. Yeah, and yeah, you could start it to rotate to make sure the outer gate is conform. Then this is all cramping together, not cool. So let's bump up the gate gap and then like this. So it's 6 and 7, but yeah, we've done it. Then next one we will be using is this one. Give a circle shape, 200 by 200, and give it a stroke and delete the fill. Now I'm going to go into vector editing mode and delete this vector point. Since this is quite curvy, and I want it to be less curvy, so instead of to do that, I'm going to hit pen tool, then hit a edit point around, I don't know, maybe here, and then escape key, and then hit V key to delete this one. So this is a vector that I wanted to use. I'm going to duplicate it because I'm going to use that second times in the next graphical element. Now I'm going to start with this stroke width, I don't know, 20. Then ideally I would love to have a variable with stroke, but right now in Figma it's not releasing yet. So I'm going to use a plugin that's called variable with stroke. Then we click again, then you will see this started to emerging. You hold command and you will see this purple line here. You can see. Okay, I want to make sure this is the center point for the half circle, but I wanted to make sure it's centered around here because we cut it out a bit right here. So I'm going to do right in his space so we can just thicken it. Yeah, I'm gonna duplicate this one and then hit radial repeat, then start with 1 and then start rotating. You could have this kind of cute graphic, or we could go a little bit more. This one also looks kind of cool. Yeah. You can adjust your variable within this stage and then just repeat it again, but you are not able to do it right here. I will show you. We use this one and then select this shape and then edit variable with stroke. You click and then you see funny things happen. So anyway, it still looks kind of cool, but it's not what we want. Let's keep it at the side and then do it in here. So you click on edit variable width, then you click and then hold command and you will see a line that you are thickening it. I feel it's a bit too thick, it's too prominent, so I'm gonna make it a little bit lesser. So maybe like this one. So yeah, then I'm gonna apply the same repeat 6 and 1. Okay, then rotate. I also like this kind of graphic as well. And I'm gonna do it in the sugar shape still looks good. Yeah, now we can do another one. And it's using this. I'm going to design a brush. So first the circle. And I'm going to make it like 40 by 40. And having color of black. And then doing this. So I'm going to use another plugin called Vector Blender. I introduced it in another video. I'll put a link in the below. So open up Vector Blender and select the first shape and the second shape. And then I think maybe 5 is enough. So generate. Yep, I think this looks kind of nice. So I'm gonna group it. And then just duplicate this one. And then shift edge to horizontally. Then put it in here so it got this kind of cool things. And group it all together. I'm gonna duplicate this group. And then if we wanted to create a custom brush, and we are going to kind of flatten it, so Command E to flatten everything, then right click to create brush and the stretch brush. So the brush is created. Now we can go here, the new feature that we could use brush stroke. Then let's find our vector. Yeah, I think it's this one because we already have one in here that's I created. So this is the second one that we created is in here. Now let's bump it up to make it like a circle. So as you see that it's not very clever, it becomes like this stupid black shape. So you just have to like try to find places that look like a circle. So maybe 18 looks fine. Okay, then duplicate this one and then hit radial repeat. And we start with the same, the 1 unit and 6. And we can rotate. See how good is that? I wanted to try a little bit more, maybe 8. I think this looks nice. Okay, now we are going to put things into the elements. So as you can see that this kind of graphical elements doesn't really mean anything, but it's kind of still a feature if this is in your art direction. You have to make sure that the element you put, even if it is a little meaningless, but it still have some consistency, so you can convey it in the your art direction. So first thing is that these are all Newman shape, as you can see here. And the next thing is that they all have this kind of gradient stroke. So I will try to make sure these are visually weighted together, and then same gradient and then same shape to do that. So it gets a little bit of consistency. Also, if you can see that, I think music production is like a a cog, and then you are just producing. So this is a much more aggressive thing, and mixing something that's mixed together. So we have the white dots, small dots, and everything. And composition is like weaving through a net of beautiful clothes. So that's what I'm thinking when I designing this shape and put it in the meaning of this card. Okay, so now I'm going to make sure these are visually weighted. Let's select this one. I think this one looks better, or this one. And I like this one. The next thing we will do is put things in the frame and make sure they are all equally weighted in complexity. Yep, let's copy and then paste it in the frame. And I'm also change the constraint to center and bottom. This can help me replace the content later. When you hit K and start it to drag, you see anything messy happen? Let's try it again. Command Z, and then okay, see that this part just split. The original just is stay together. So it's weird. I think it's a Figma thing, but I found a way to just not doing that. You use this scale panel, and I'm going to use 0.8. I think this might be great. And another thing that it feels weird is that this constraint keep changing because I already set it in this place, but it doesn't preserve that constraint. So just to be aware of that. So I'm gonna put it a little bit down, the guideline here, so we can know what's the highest point. Now the next one is this one, and 0.6. Yeah, I think that will work. And then like it to be visually weighted like this. So, and this one, replace it. Right, and let's see. I feel I like this one better, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Don't need them to be visually weighted in complexity as well. And so one thing I noticed that I feel like this line has a lot, so it's also complement with this, but this feel a little bit too loose. So I am going to do is just bump it up, then maybe change the rotation a bit. Yep. And I think, yeah, it's a little bit big right now, so let's scale it down again, maybe 5. Now, I think we could also do is bumping up this stroke width. And yeah, it has some effect that we don't want it. Let's adjust it because it's a bit too thick. So let's start with, maybe we could adjust the gap. Okay, you can see, I think this one looks nicer. Yeah, now we need to add the gradient. What I would do is having a center one and then go 0. Yeah, let's just do this in every one of them. As you can see that when you have something that gradient comes in, then this shape doesn't feel right again. So we will need to change to make it feel like cohesive, not intrusive in terms of complexity, because they are all overlapping together. So what I will do is trying to then do this and then check our guide. Okay, it's almost the same. Yeah, I think it looks nice. So now we can just put it back in, then remove the stroke here. So another thing that I wanted to change is probably the gradient. I don't want it to be this contrasty, so maybe 30 and then 30. So because this has a lot more weight than the stroke, this dot, because this star have space and this line has space, but this a very strong stroke. So yeah, you could just change the color also to make sure it's not that intrusive. We probably need to tone it down a bit, just giving a little bit less contrast. Looks nice. So it feels a little bit much more balanced. Okay, that's what I want. And now we have our elements ready. As you can see, these are exiting the frame. So what we'll do is that we will select all these frame and then unclick the mask, and then we're going there to scale it up. Then 1.3. I think this looks okay. I'll move it down a bit. Yeah, okay, so that's it. It's not exactly the same, but I feel that this looks kind of nice and I like it. And that's it, my friend. So if you have any question, let me know, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.